My name is Fatima. I'm here to tell you about in my journey in getting my son diagnosed with autism. I have a beautiful boy who is 8 years old. When he was diagnosed with autism, I didn't know what autism was. The first day I heard about autism was when I took my son to the doctor because I was concerned about whether he could hear or not. The first thing the doctor said to me was when she walked in, he screamed and he was at the door. I didn't want to have anything to do with the doctor. She said, "Your son is showing signs of autism. Didn't you know this?" That's how I learned about the word autism, honestly. In my community, the Somali language, there is no word for autism. I didn't know what to think. I just went there to get his hearings checked. I had no idea I was going to have my son diagnosed at the doctor's visit. Casual visit, not something that I've never heard. I heard about it, bits and pieces, but we didn't know. I had no idea. Because my son was normal developing a year old, year and a half. He walked, he reached all his milestones. I never noticed anything was different. He was beautiful, happy boy. Even though he would wake up in the middle of the night while awake and could not go back to sleep. My husband and I always thought he's a boy and he's got a lot of energy and his brain is developing rapidly, so that's why he can't sleep. I didn't know anything about neurodevelopmental differences at the time. I nourished and loved him and stayed up. We watched ABCs. So he knew all his letters and numbers at the age of 1. I want to share this video today with any parent out there who is wondering what's going on, or if their child is showing signs of delay, or if they are diagnosed with autism or any other neurodevelopmental differences. My journey started December 2014. When my son was diagnosed, I was given a lot of information, pamphlets, paperwork, referrals. I didn't know what to do with it because it was overwhelming. I was told to make an appointment. I did. And then I canceled the appointment 2 weeks later, even though there was a 6-month wait list to get to the neurodevelopmental doctor who actually is supposed to diagnose the child officially, whether they have autism or not. While I was waiting, there were so many things, thoughts, guilt. Why? What's happened? Why? What's going on? What is autism? My stomach was turning and twisting. It took me a while. I was very sad, and I was very angry at the doctor who told me that, who casually diagnosed my son. I, in fact, complained about her. I said, "What kind of doctor is this who's diagnosing your child for a hearing test?" I canceled my doctor's appointment. I went to Google. Any parent who's out there who's dealing with autism or any issues that the doctor tells you, you know how it feels like to get your child diagnosed. Or maybe have yourself locked in a room and don't tell anyone, don't share the stories with anybody. I searched. Google was my best friend. I watched a video of YouTube of what it looks like kids that had autism symptoms. Then I looked at my beautiful boy. He sure did show all the symptoms and signs of autism. He wasn't responding to his name. He was running. He was a very busy guy, running to walls and back and forth and speaking a language I didn't understand, repeating things that didn't make sense to me. I did call OT and speech. That was the best thing I've done for my son. He had a lot of sensories. OT is occupational therapy. They help children with autism, with kids that can't eat, that can't be touched, you can't brush their hair or cannot brush their teeth. I learned a lot. I read books. I educated myself. And then I called my developmental pediatrician back again after I canceled that appointment. And I told the person, I said, "I need to see the doctor, please. My son, I think, has autism, and I was referred. We get him into diagnosis. He was diagnosed autism and speech delay. My journey started then. It took me a while to get myself ready for this journey. There were a lot of days that I didn't want to have anything to do with all the information. I was bombarded with so many information, so many things. Everybody's got something for your son. Everybody has a cure and this and that. There's this thing, the scientific information. Do this, do that. How many things can I do? How much paperwork can I fill out? I got overwhelmed. Every place you go to, there's 100 or maybe 200 questions that are asking you the same thing. Was he normal when he was born? What was his weight and height? This information were overwhelming because every time you go back, you are being reminded that something is wrong with your son, And I wish I wish the paperwork were condensed, made very simple. I kept doing it. I didn't give up. I read books. I said, Fatima, you need to do this for your son. I started early intervention. I filled out all the paperwork, did all the intakes I could. At the age of 2, my son started early intervention, ABA, in-home therapy for 3 years. I did OT and speech. We did swim therapy, music therapy. We did feeding therapy. We did everything under the sun, anything, literally 60 hours a week of therapy. I knew that if I didn't do it then, I don't know where he would have been today. So I started all that. My son today is 8 years old. He has been potty trained right away with a great team of people that have been working with me since he was 3 years old. We taught him all kinds of different food. We taught him how to chew. We taught him how to, he uses language. It's not where it's supposed to be, but he is a very independent boy with self-directions and limited language, but he understands. He's a very bright kid. I want to tell my fellow parents, you are your child's best advocate. You are your child's voice, his teacher, doctor, therapist, manager and case manager, researcher. Don't give up. There is hope. Every single parent out there that's thinking, what can I do? Everybody's telling me that there's something wrong with my son. He can't do this. Tell us his deficiencies and what he can do. 1 to 10, can't. Yes, they can. Our children can. They have potentials. They can learn with love and support, with your advocacy, with you not giving up, with you coming out, finding the resources and the great support groups, awesome parents that are out there in the disability community that are fighting every single day around the clock on behalf of our children. I'm talking to the mother who's getting the diagnosis today for her child. I'm talking to the father who doesn't know how to deal with, maybe doesn't have the patience. Please be patient. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Our children can achieve so much with the right setting and right people who know how to work with them, who said they can learn. Every child has the potential to learn. They are in there. They just need someone who understands. Please don't hide. If there is anything that you think, if there are any red flags for your child that you think he or she is not reaching their milestone, please connect with Multicultural Autism Action Network in the community. Connect with MDH. Connect with all your networks and Facebook, all the social media, YouTube. There will be a lot of people out there who will be there to support you. Please, early intervention is very important. Not what I say, it's important. You will see the difference. Others might not. But you as parent, your voice matters. You are your child's voice. You are your child's light. Please, parents, if there's anything wrong with your child, seek assistance. I love my son with all my heart and soul. He's beautiful. He tells me, Mommy, I love you. If I get frustrated, he says, I'm sorry, Mom. When he was 2, 3, 4, 5, I remember saying, would he ever say, Mom? I remember telling my husband, I just want to hear the word Mom. Sometimes he reminds me that, Fatima, remember when you were worried the word Mom. He can write Mom. He can write his name. He can tell me how old he is. He can tell me what address and all the social questions we taught him. And he tells me, Mommy, I love you. He wakes up sometimes at 2 a.m. just for reassurance. Mommy, I love you, Mom. And I tell him, I love you too. Please, there is hope. Thank you very much.